Greetings to everybody. How are you today? Good to see you again. If you have any question, please let me know by sending in your question one at a time in order to protect others people's question being bumped off my screen. So we'll just send in one question at a time. Okay. Please let me know which country you come from if this is your first time to join. Okay, so if I don't answer your question, if I didn't answer your question, it's probably because your question was gone off my screen or did not appear on my screen. So you have to resubmit your question again. So we'll begin with the first comment from Sokia Ki, Satu, David Silanada, Satu, Vikyo Campbell, Mandami Bante, Laksika Meyer, Satu, Johanna Lee Namasakan, Ajahn, Bhutanese Talking La, James Ong, Satu, Ali Hassan, good afternoon, Ajahn. Kalayanamita, let's listen to Buddha's teaching, as Ajahn always say. Simon Yeo, Satu. Ali Hassan, sound clear, Ajahn, thank you. Xiao Pudan, Satu. Tok Heng Chua, Satu. Ong Apprentice, I can hear clearly, thank you, from Singapore. Singh, good day, Prajan, and everyone from Singapore. Question number 1 from Vic, USA. When I practice samadhi, my body feels soft, like wrapped in cotton, and the mind is bright and peaceful. After I have come out of samadhi, I contemplate on the body's impermanence and the 4 elements and realize that the mind is clinging to the entire nama-rupa, and the true clinging is the desire to exist. I have read that in Sotapanna, the fetter of personality view is lost, meaning the breaking of clinging to all 5 aggregates. My body contemplation seems to naturally progresses to all the aggregates. My question is, at this stage, should I be contemplating the clinging to all 5 khandha aggregates rather than just the body? Well, the body is part of the 5 aggregates. The two main objects that you have to deal with is your body, your attachment to your body, and your attachment to your feelings, especially painful feelings. You have to somehow manage the mind to be able to let go of your body and let go of the painful feelings. Do not try to get rid of your painful feelings when it arises. Just teach your mind to let go and just be aware of the painful feelings. Don't try to have any desire to get rid of the painful feelings. Don't try to stop the body from dying. The other nama-khandhas are part of the work. They all come together when you deal with feelings. Kim Boon Chu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Alisa Teng, good afternoon, Tanajan. Wa Cheong, well wishes and blessing to Ajahn. Thank you. Kwan Lee Man, dear Ajahn. With respect, today is the starting month of Ulambrana. Is there really a Hungry Ghost festival? I guess there is festival, but there is no ghost. I mean, there are ghosts, there are spiritual beings. There's a mind that once departed from the body, they can become different types of spiritual beings. One of them is being a hungry spiritual being. We call it Peta. If we dream that our departed ones are well and happy, does that mean they are reborn in higher realms and not ghosts? No, not necessarily. Your dream is just your imagination. Maybe it's not true to the reality of that person, state of mind. Shiva A. Namaste, Ajahn. Walai Pon. กราบนมัสการท่านพระอาจารย์ from Bangkok, Thailand. Wishing พระอาจารย์ healthy. Thank you. Aranut. Good morning, พระอาจารย์ Question number 2 from Alex Waltz, Germany. Is there any parita or mantra that I can recite to assist my brother who has passed away very recently and also to assist the bereaved? The chanting of the parita or verses is for the purpose of calming your mind. It's a form of meditation to calm your mind so that your mind will stop grieving, stop crying, stop being unhappy. You can only do this for yourself. You cannot do it for other people. Everybody has to do this by themselves to gain the benefits from chanting the parita or the sutta. Chayam Lama Gurung Satu, Jolinte Satu, Sandiom Satu Bante. Question from Daman Jono, Indonesia. Watch YouTube. Some monk teach us to watch the tip of nostril. Some say just naturally let the breath in. So during meditation, do I anchor my focus on the tip of my nostril, or do I follow the breath to go up all the way in? No, you just watch the breath at the tip of the nose when it comes into contact, coming in or going out. Don't follow the breath in or follow the breath out. Just keep watching the breath at the tip of the nose because you want to make your mind still. So you don't want to do anything besides just being merely watching or knowing. Ali Hassan. The body is part of 5 aggregates. Noted Ajahn. Do not try to rid of painful feeling. Don't get any desire. Don't try to stop dying. 5 aggregates, they all come together. You notice this, Ajahn. Thank you. You're welcome. Corinne Kaur, Satu, Satu. Good afternoon, Ajahn. Anuma Gelbor, Satu. George Lim, Tien Boon. Good day to you, Tan Ajahn. Really appreciate your teachings. Thank you. I hope you don't mind me indulging in this question. On the contemplation of the 32 parts of the body, I wanted to find out how each part looks like from the internet. However, I discovered that the general account is 78 organs part. May I know why are the other parts left out? I really don't know. I can speculate that in ancient times they don't have the capability like in modern times. So they just focus on the main organs that they can visualize or see easily. So it doesn't really matter whether it's 78 or 32 parts. Really, the goal is for you to look at the body as being disgusting, not beautiful, not good looking. If you don't see inside parts of the body, you can be deluded to see that the body is good looking. So try to see the other parts that is not good looking, to teach your mind to see that the body is truly not good looking. From Chu Chin, good afternoon and my respect toท่านอาจารย์. I am from Malaysia. Thank you. Agaliko, Namaskaran, Ajahn. EOSC, Sukihotu,ท่านอาจารย์. Jelena Jiu Vijanovic. What is the best way to get my merit and auspiciousness for our ancestors, our family members, and ourselves? Well, it depends on the status of these people. If they have departed from this world, the best way to make merit for them is to practice charity, giving, generosity. When you give, you feel good. This good feeling is called merit, and you can send or share this good feeling for the departed ones. But for those who are living, they have to do merit as the Buddha have taught. The three types of merit. One is charity, second is morality, third is meditation. These are the ways of making merit or making good feelings for ourselves. Ali Hassan, your dream is just your imagination. Means dream is sometimes can be only our own creation, Ajahn, our hope, expectation. Yes, or sometimes it can be something else, but most of the time it's probably just our thought, imagination. In order to find out which is which, you have to prove it. You have to wait to see whether what your dream compares to reality. If you dream that you're gonna win a lottery ticket, and you happen to win the lottery ticket, then this might be prophetic. You might have a prophetic vision. But you have to do this every time. You have to check it to see that this happens every time. If it only happens once and not all the time, then maybe it's just a coincidence. Hi, Eng. Buddha spoke about hell and heaven realms. We can be reborn in hell or heaven. Ajahn did say hell and heaven are mind states only. My question is, do hell and heaven realm exist? They are mind states. If your mind is happy, this is heavenly realm. If your mind is sad, this is hellish realm. There's no actual realm like country like China or Japan. There's no such thing as a location. It all refers back to the mind itself. If you have a happy mind, you are in heaven. If you have a sad mind, a tormenting mind, you are in hell. That's why we have to practice to make our mind happy with the practice of charity, morality, and meditation. Then we will reach different level of heaven, eventually to the highest level we call Nibbana. Mona Lisa, Namaskaran Ajahn. Question from Dhamma. Question number 2. When meditating, there are some cloud of light that brighten up, then dim into darkness. Sometimes I can ignore it, but sometimes this phenomena disturb me. How to handle them? Just stick to your meditation object. Even if you are disturbed, try to come back to your meditation object, or change. If you're watching your breath and you cannot be concentrated, then try to use the mantra instead. By reciting the mantra, you can become more concentrated and not be disturbed by what you see. Ajahn, question number 3 from Dhamma. Each time when I slow down my breath, I feel more focused and calm. Are we allowed to slow down our breath? Not intentionally. If the breath slows down of itself, it's okay. We don't want to manage the breath because this will be working for the mind. Then the mind cannot become still. If you want your mind to become still, you have to leave the breath alone. Just keep focusing on the breath itself. Don't do anything to the breath. If you keep doing things to the breath, then your mind cannot become still, cannot enter into jhana. Punami 10, good afternoon, Pante. I am homeless without a place to call home. I have to rent from others. How can I overcome loneliness and my problems, Sadhu? Your loneliness is your desire to have a home, to have friends. So this is causing you to have loneliness. So the way to overcome this loneliness is to learn to meditate. Calm your mind, still your mind. Because when you calm your mind, when your mind becomes still, then your desire for friends, for a home will disappear. Then the feeling of loneliness will disappear. And you will have a feeling of contentment, satisfaction. Then you know that you don't really need a home. You don't need friends. You can live alone and be happy and contented. From Sue Christie, Sadhu, Sadhu. Kwan Lee Man, dear Ajahn, in the four foundations of mindfulness, we keep mindfulness on body, feeling, emotional state, and thought. Is the five aggregates come under the investigation of thoughts? The five aggregates come under the investigation of body and feelings, not thoughts. Maybe the six aggregates. With the thought, we investigate the thought. So it's hard to say whether you're dealing with the five aggregates. I think the five aggregates with the body is dealt with by the contemplation of body and feelings. With the contemplation of thought, we are dealing with emotions, which are not part of the five aggregates. Chukboy Lo, Sadhu, Sadhu. Nabiti, Namaskaran Ajahn from Medan, Indonesia. Thank you. Karuna Tor, Sadhu, Sadhu. George Lim Tien Boon. Dear Ajahn, there is no self in the body, but is there a self in the mind? No, there is no self in the mind either. The mind is just like the body. It is a natural phenomena without a self. But it is being created by delusion, by the mind's own delusion, thinking that the mind is the self, thinking that the body is the self. How do we contemplate no self in the mind, or the mind is not me, myself? By training the mind to become merely knowing and not reacting. When you see something, just merely see. When you hear something, just merely hear. Do not react to what you see or hear. When you think something, just merely know. Do not react to what you think. This is the way to get rid of self in the mind. The self is the one that propels all the reaction. So if you want to stop the self, then you have to stop the reaction. So when you see something, just see. When you hear something, just hear. When you think something, just know you are thinking something. Don't react to what you see, you hear, or think. Oika, Sadhu, Sadhu. Different people have different character. If that is not self, what is that? It's preferences. The mind is, each individual mind prefer to do things differently, or like or dislike. Some people like red color, some people like green color, some people hate brown color, some people hate white color, for instance. These are just preference or like or dislike. They are defilement. Wang Xiao Hui, Suki Hotu Pante, and Galayana Mita. Chayanan Moon Rabbit, Satu Satu. Sammy Riachi, good morning Tanajan. Sometimes I feel that when I do a few sweeping of the body, that I am able to focus better on the breath afterwards. Is it okay to do that? Yes, definitely. You can do whatever you want to do as long as it helps your concentration, help your focus. But once you focus, then you should just keep focusing. Don't do anything else. But when you start, you find it difficult to focus, then you can do chanting, or you can recite the 32 parts of the body until your mind becomes more focused and be able to focus on your breath. Then you stop do other thing and keep focusing on your breath. William T.O.Y.L. I have a question about meditation. Sometimes when meditation, I will receive phone calls or bell rings. Should I answer them or should I ignore them? Really, it's up to you. If you want to continue on meditating, then you have to ignore them. If you want to be successful in your meditation, then you have to ignore everything. If you keep replying to things, then you will never be able to succeed in your meditation. So you have to isolate yourself from everything if you meditate in order to be successful. So anything comes up, you should just ignore it. If you don't want to be disturbed, turn off your phone when you meditate. From Pramsa JW, Namaskaran Prajan. Question number 4 from Dhamma. There's a small pause of time during the breathing in and out. I watch my in-breath pause, out-breath pause, and in-breath again. Sometimes I get sidetracked during the pause because there's no breath to watch. Any tips on how or what to focus on during the pause? Just watching the pause, and when you can feel the breath coming in, you watch the breath. Just continue on watching, whether it's the coming in or going out of the breath, or the passing of the breath. Just merely watch. Don't do anything. Don't pay any special attention to any particular one. Just see them as they appear. Gek Yen So, greeting Tanajan. May Tanajan be well, healthy, and continue turning the Dhamma wheels. Thank you. Adi Aha Satu. Shiva A. Dear Ajahn, being happy and being sad are both same, right? When I hold on to happiness, other side will come, then I try to get rid of it. It won't go. So the Ajahn, treating happiness and sadness as same is the practice. Treating them the same way, but not as the same thing. Happiness and sadness are two different things, but you should treat them the same by merely be knowing. Don't indulge in them. When you have happiness, just merely know that there is happiness. When there is sadness, just merely know that there is sadness. Then you will not feel any disturbed when they come and go. Someone from China or Chinese character sending a heart. Thank you. Hi Eng Yu. I chant a mantra continuously when I am aware. but at times I am not mindful and my false thoughts appear non-stop. How do I remain focused on chanting my mantra even during my daily activities and working out? You just have to keep reminding yourself to recite the mantra. Keep checking yourself to see if you're reciting the mantra or not. You have to be the watcher of yourself. You have to remind yourself, am I reciting the mantra or am I not? Where am I right now? What am I doing right now? The Buddha teaches us to ask ourselves this question all the time. What am I doing right now? Just keep asking this question. Am I being mindful or not being mindful? Then then you will know whether you are mindful or not mindful. So when you're not mindful, then you can become mindful again. Keep asking yourself this question: what am I doing right now? Am I being mindful or not being mindful? Sulan Uwe. Dear Ajahn, thank you for your compassion in guiding us. I am scared when anger is directed at me. Can you advise? Why does fear and sorrow arise? And how can I cope with fear? Well, the fear arises from your desire to have things, to have good things. So you have fear because you know that things are not always going to be good, going to be good. So fear arises. So you have to teach your mind to accept the truth that things will keep changing from good to bad, from bad to good. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you know this, then you might be able to accept things that you don't like. Then there will be no fear. Just keep contemplating on the truth of anicca, impermanence. Things constantly change. Good and bad things come and go. There's nothing you can do about it. They are anatta, they are natural phenomena. So then, once you understand this, then you will get rid of your fear. If you cannot use this type of contemplation to get rid of your fear, when you are afraid, just keep reciting a mantra until you forget about the thing that caused you to have fear. From any lam, Satu, Sherio, Teo, Satu, Satu, Kim Nai Tan, Satu. Hi Eng Yu, excellent response to my question, Satu Ajahn. You're welcome. Tanula, Satu, Satu, Shiva A. Last Sunday you told us that anger can be calmed by sending metta. Do sending metta help in calming down fear? You can try it, I don't know. I think with fear you have to either use a mantra, keep reciting Bhutto, 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 or use wisdom or insight by seeing that everything is anicca, everything is impermanent, everything is subjected to change or dissolution. When you can accept this truth, then fear will disappear. Falling soon. Just want to know the departed people, how long they will remain in the spiritual world. How long depends on how much karma they have to to pay the consequence or receive the reward. If you have lots of bad karma, you'll remain a spiritual being for a long time. Same way, if you have good karma, you'll remain a spiritual being for a long time. Only when your good and bad karma equals to each other, then that's the time you will come and take birth as a human being. Any help to them, we are still praying for them. if there are hungry ghosts, you can share the merit you make from charity. Can Ajahn explain more on departed people in the spiritual world? Well, the mind doesn't die with the body. The mind itself becomes a spiritual being, and it can exist happily or sadly. Depends on the good or bad karma the mind did when the body was still around, and this will then indicate how long one will remain a spiritual being. The differences between the good and bad karma. If there are more bad karma than good karma, the mind will be a happy spiritual being. If there are more bad karma than good karma, then the mind will be an unhappy spiritual being. And this will continue on until the good and bad karma balances themselves. When good and bad karma cannot make the mind happy or sad, then it's time for the mind to take up birth as a human being. From Sammy Reachi, dear Tanajan, I noticed that when the sexual desire goes down, anger goes up. Then when anger goes down, doubt arises and so on. Could there be an underlying energy that is common to all the defilements? Delusion is the underlying energy. Avijja paccaya sankhara. Delusion is the one that the chief of the defilements that keeps driving all the other types of defilements. So you need to develop wisdom by seeing or understanding the Four Noble Truths and the three characteristics of existence. Then you will be able to stop this delusion, this avijja pushing the defilements to become angry, to become sad, and so forth. Fat Choi Chong, Sadhu Sadhu Ajahn. Wei Kwan Ku Sadhu, Sapru Chai Namasagan Ajahn. Ting Feng Jai, Sadhu Sadhu. Yohanali, Namaste Ajahn. In between daily routines and keeping mindfulness, there would be boredom arising. How to view boredom the right way and be peaceful with the state called boredom Ajahn. Boredom arises because your mind is not happy. Your mind is not still enough. So when you have boredom, you have to meditate to calm your mind down. It's difficult to rationalize with the mind when it has boredom. The first and most important way is to meditate, to calm your mind, to still your mind. Once your mind becomes calm, boredom will disappear. Then if you have strong mindfulness, when you have boredom, you can teach your mind that your boredom arises from your desire to have things or to do things different than what you are doing now. So when you cannot do things differently, you have boredom. But if you can stop your mind from having desire to do other things and teach your mind that what you do now is what you have to do and stick with it, then you can overcome your boredom. But the best way is to meditate when you have boredom rather than watching TV or anything, because eventually watching TV itself can become boredom again. Gleb Alwich, hello Ajahn, how do we know if a certain feeling is inside our mind like anxiety or something that is outside affecting our mind? Thank you. Feelings are always in your mind. It appears in your mind, but it can be caused by physical things or mental things. You see something and you can have anxiety, or you think about something, you can also have anxiety. So What you want to do is to stop this anxiety by reciting a mantra or using insight or wisdom to see that everything is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Then your mind then can get rid of anxiety. Shiva A, thank you, Ajahn. Thai Bab Om, been practicing Anapana Sati past 18 years. Start with Brahma Vihara and on the Supa nowadays. I can see my body parts clearly as a patch of bright lights appear and block my vision until I move to Anapanasati. Please advise. Well, you don't need to practice Brahma Vihara or Asupa when you want to practice Anapanasati. Just focus on your breath directly when you start meditating. Just keep watching your breath at the tip of your nose. You don't need to do any other thing. But if you find that you cannot focus on your breath, you can recite the 32 parts of the body first, like hair of the head, hair of the body, nail, teeth, skin, and so forth, back and forth, until your mind become more or less focused and able to watch your breath. Then you can then keep watching your breath. From Cornell Kennedy, Vandami Ajahn. Previously, Ajahn said human realm has one benefit, which is one can practice Dhamma and become enlightened. Question, why can Deva or Brahma realm practice Dhamma and become enlightened? They can, but it's harder for them because it's hard for them to have a teacher, because a teacher who is enlightened has to have a special ability to connect with the Deva to be able to teach them. So they have to wait for a Buddha, like the Buddha, who has this ability to connect, to teach to the Deva. Then they can learn the Dhamma from the Buddha or an Arahant. But not every Arahant has the capability of connecting with Devas. So the number of teachers for the Devas are limited. They can still practice and become enlightened, but not as easily than human beings, because there are lots of human Arahants and Buddhas. But as far as Brahma realm, it's impossible to reach them, because those who are in Brahma realm are in jhana. They are not in contact with the outside world. So the best form of becoming enlightened is to become a human being. Sue Christie, good afternoon, Ajahn. I experienced hearing voice of someone near my ear during meditation. Happened many times. What should I do? I ignore it most of the time, sadhu. That's right, just ignore it. Just keep focusing on your meditation object. What you see or hear in your meditation are distraction, and they can block your advance into jhana. So try not to pay any attention to them. Just keep focusing on your meditation object. There's a question by Hang Yu, but it's lightened, so I'm not sure whether it's meant for me not to read or what, or to reply. So I have to skip this question. Bilim Satu Satu Satu. Ui Po Hua, thank you, Luang Por, for your time. May Ajahn be well and happy. Satu Satu. Eli Hassan, Ajahn, my friend's younger sister, just departed. Next Tuesday will be the 7th day. Her death so sudden, just within a week, unwell, and 3 days suspected COVID-19. When our family remembered and feeling lost, whether just recite Bhutto, Bhutto, or may call her name and pray home, she will reborn at better realm. There's nothing we can do for her as far as her future realm of existence. It depends on her good or bad karma that she had done. All we could do is just wish her well, I guess. But other than that, there's nothing we really can do for them. Everybody has to do their own good or bad karma, and they will be the one that will decide whether they will be going into the good or bad realm of existence. Pausing soon. Meditation needs the energy to concentrate the breath to keep the mind. No thought and stay longer, right? You need the energy to concentrate. Yes. Colonel Kennedy, Vandami Ajahn. I noticed there are people love to build monastery, Sima, etc. Even more luxury, the bigger the better. Let's say after die, that people go to Deva realm and have a huge celestial palace, castle, and lots of luxury. Will that be the hindrance, obstacle to let go for them in the future also? Sooner or later, need to let go all those luxury, isn't it? Yes, sooner or later you have to leave the palace like the Buddha did. Or there's something so-called luxury but without enjoying the luxury. I don't know what you mean by that. Enjoying or not enjoying is depend on yourself. Some people have luxury and they are not enjoying it. Maybe because in the past life they have preference. They've been living in poverty and they enjoy poverty more than luxury. So this life they happen to be born with luxury and they're not enjoying them. Sin Yom Lin, Satu, Satu, Ong Eng Eng, Satu, Sapu Chai, Satu, Satu. Question number 5 from Dhamma. There was once when I meditated with my eyes closed. Everything became so bright. Then it changed to darkness, and then it kept changing rapidly between darkness and brightness. I focused hard on watching the breath, and suddenly everything became stable, and I felt very happy and blissful, and my thought couldn't control me. If I encounter that moment again, how to handle them? You just handle the same way that you did previously. Any tips for me on how to further improve my meditation? Just keep focusing, keep being mindful, and don't be distracted by anything when you meditate. George Lim Tien Boon, dear Ajahn, I find that every time I go through hard work or suffering in life, the mind tends to want to reward yourself for the hard time you've been through, like telling yourself to relax and reward yourself with TV, music, food, and drinks, for instance. I know it's not good, but that's how the mind works. How do we tell our mind not to reward ourselves with this kind of defilement for reward for the difficult time and you pull through? Just tell your mind that there is a better reward. That is the reward that you gain from meditation. So anytime you want to reward yourself, just do meditation instead of watching movie, listening to music, eating food, or drinks some drinks. Rather than you can reward yourself by doing meditation, because the result from meditation is much better than the result you get from these sensual objects. Kanchan Karat, Mandami Pante, I am from Pune, India. My age is 38. How can I keep myself motivated to practice Dhamma? By studying more Dhamma, teaching of the Buddha, from an enlightened noble disciple. Studying the life of the Buddha, study the life of the noble disciple, study the teaching of the Buddha, and keep practicing also. Once you study, you'll be inspired, and when you practice, and after you have practiced, you will be more inspired, more motivated. So you have to do both, studying the Dhamma teaching and practice the Dhamma teaching. Even when you don't feel like, you have to force yourself to do it. At first, you don't have inspiration, so you need to force yourself. But once you start to study and practice, then you start to have motivation. Irene Uy, good afternoon, Ajahn, and everyone in the Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu. Mimi Tibina, sadhu Ajahn, Sukhi Hotu. Recently, when I was meditating, suddenly my mind remembered me about my mother when she was in coma in ICU 4 years ago, before she passed away. I always thought that I had let go. Am I still clinging to this? Can Prajahn advise me? Sometimes you can think of the past, sometimes you can think of anything. As long as you are not disturbed emotionally, then you're not clinging. But your mind can think of the past. As long as you are not reacting emotionally, it's okay. Jinny Lin Pua, sadhu, sadhu. Chin Li Ching, hi Ajahn. Is it advisable to chant the Dhammapada? Some interesting phrases, thank you. You can chant anything you like. This is a form of developing mindfulness. You can chant Bhutto, Bhutto. You can chant Buddham Saranam Gacchami. You can chant Kusala Dhamma, Akusala Dhamma, Abhijato Dhamma. These are all methods of developing mindfulness, stilling your mind. Sandy Lim, sadhu, sadhu Ajahn. Suchart, have a good day and take care. Thank you. Shiva A, dear Ajahn, is thought a problem, or how we react to thought which give rise to emotion is the problem? Your reaction to thoughts, your reaction to things is the problem. That's why you want to teach your mind to not to react, especially in an emotional way. If you have to react, you should react in a rational way, then it's okay. Lee Kim Lim, sadhu. Siti Kusuma, sadhu, sadhu. Ati Mahajan, Vandami Pante. I am a Ayurvedic doctor doing job. I came across a patient who is suffering from impotency disease. Is it due to his past life karma he is suffering, or is it physical disease? It can be either one. Sometimes it's the karma, sometimes it's the physical problem. So it doesn't matter which is which really. What is important is whether you can fix it or not. If you cannot fix it, then you just have to accept and leave it alone. From Cornell, Kennedy, Mandami Ajahn. Let's say Mr. A dana money to Mr. B. Mr. B asked Mr. C to buy flour. Mr. C offered the flour to Ajahn, who gained highest merit and parami. The one who paid the money, because that's where the sacrifice comes most. Is the money, the amount of money that you spend, you give up. Hui Hong Lo, sadhu, sadhu. Cornell Kennedy, Vandami Ajahn. Is lots of thinking good? No. What is the difference? Thinking with contemplating. Is contemplating also thinking? Thinking or contemplating is the same. It depends on the subject of your thinking. If you think of anicca, dukkha, anatta, then this is good. But if you think about some other thing, then this is bad. Eddie Gan, thank you, Tanajan. I am Eddie from Kuala Lumpur. Falling soon. Do meditation is tired. Can Ajahn tell more? Well, if you feel tired from meditation, then you just take a pause, take a break, and when you feel more energized, then you can restart your meditation again. Ali Hassan, thank you, Ajahn, for the teaching. Hope Ajahn in good condition and keep teaching, and hope all Kalyana will always keep in practicing Dhamma. Have our own good seed of karma until reach Nibbana. Don't lose this great chance of doing Sila, Dana, and Samadhi when still alive in this human realm. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we have about 9 minutes left until we reach the 1 hour mark. So if you are typing your question, you can continue on typing and send them in. If you haven't yet typed, you can start typing now. We still have about 8 minutes left to answer your question. From Chi Chin Chuan, if I have rational, analytical thinking, but I don't have mindfulness, can I practice Vipassana straight away? If you don't have mindfulness, you won't be able to concentrate on your thinking. You might be able to think briefly, then you might will dash to think about something else. With mindfulness, strong mindfulness, you can force your mind to think rationally for a long time, especially on the subject of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Sami Riyashi, dear Tanajan, how can we come out of people-pleasing habit? How can we come out of people-pleasing habit? I'm not sure what do you mean by this question. Sami, can you resend your question? How can we come out of people-pleasing habit? I don't understand your question, Sami. Ati Mahajan, how to overcome scattered brain? By developing mindfulness, by keep concentrating on something all the time. If you're working, if you're doing something, keep focusing on what you do. If you're walking, keep focusing on your walking. Just keep focusing on your body activity. From Christine Su, Sadhu, Sadhu. Shiva A, dear Ajahn, for me sitting meditation is easy. Sometimes I can sit very long, but I have some difficulty in doing walking meditation. So I need to practice more walking meditation. Not necessarily. If you can meditate sitting down, that's very good already. The only reason why you do walking meditation is when you're not sitting. If you're feeling tired from sitting for a long time and you want to continue with your meditation, then you can switch to walking meditation. Alexa Ru Aruka. Hello, Ajahn Suchart. I moved from my homemade monastery to a floating cave. I used the money that I had set aside to go on retreat to Sri Lanka, and then I bought a sailboat with a cabin. The reason was that I broke my sila by reacting to the daily and punctual teasing made by my upstairs neighbor. Long story short, she made noises above my head as I sat down to meditate, and what was supposed to be a friend turned into an enemy. After I bought the boat, she stopped the war. Now I will be able to spend a few weeks isolated on the islands, and I have the logistical support of my homemade monastery. I regained my calm, and now I can work mastering the jhanas and fasting for 7 days or more. For the teachings of the Buddha transmitted or facilitated by you, I thank you. Sadhu, sadhu. You're welcome. Very happy to hear of of your circumstances. I hope you will advance in your practice. Apidi Juprapa, Namaskar Ajahn. George Lim Tien Bun, thank you Ajahn for spending your precious time with us. We are truly blessed. Pauling soon, how to practice contemplating anicca, dukkha, anatta. By looking at things as constantly changing like your body. Study the nature, study how your body has changed from the time of birth to the time you are now, and how it will change again until at the time of death. This is anicca. Anatta meaning you cannot stop this process of change. The body constantly keeps changing. The body is not under your control. So the body is not you or belonging to you. If you want to claim your body to control the body, then you will get dukkha because you will not be able to do it. Brian dear Ajahn, how do we think about niyati, destiny in our life in Buddhism? Our destiny depends on our good or bad karma. So if you have to have good destiny, do good karma. If you don't want to have any bad destiny, then stop doing bad karma. Will predetermined events be altered when we practice Dhamma or create more good karma? There are no predetermined events. Events are constantly changing. And we cannot changing events because events are conditions that constantly being moved by other conditions. So what we want to learn is to learn to live with these changing conditions, not trying to change them. Brian Sadhu Sadhu. Sunday Lim, Ajahn Suchart, when I meditate, sometimes I feel my head, there is a warm feeling, and I chant the mantra and slowly it goes away. Is that correct? Your goal is not to do anything with whatever comes up in your mind during meditation. You just keep focusing on your meditation object and leave the things alone. They will come and go by themselves. Idaho, Sadhu, Sadhu. Shecharo made Namo Buddhaya. Pauline Soon, thank you very much for teaching. Sadhu, Sadhu. Kayan Nisansala, Namo Buddhaya, Honorable Ajahn. In life we do planning our works and visualizing it. Want to know how I keep the mindfulness and do this, please advise. You just be mindful of what you think and mindful with what you do, but don't expect anything more than what you can get. Because sometimes when you expect something more than you can get, then you can become disappointed and become sad. So we want to avoid creating sadness. So try not to expect anything more than what you can do, or what you can get, or what you get. Then you will not have any disappointment. From Swante, Sadhu, Sadhu. Felicia Chan, good afternoon Ajahn. Thank you for your Dhamma teaching. My samadhi improved a lot. Thank you so much Ajahn. Pauline soon, can we feeling our future life by meditation? Yes, you can. You can direct your future life by meditation. If you keep meditating on samatha and vipassana, you will direct your future at nibbana. You will be in nibbana sooner or later with the practice of samatha and vipassana meditation. Sunny Lim, thanks so much for the answer and very blessed from your teaching. You're welcome. Pauline soon, thank you. You're welcome. Johanna Lee, thank you Ajahn for the teaching. Thank you for facilitating question and answer online. I am from Indonesia, Ajahn. You're welcome. Well, that's about all the time for today. I thank you very much for your patience, for your participation. I hope if I disappoint you on my answer because maybe I didn't quite understand what you asked, or maybe I'm not clever enough to be able to explain to you what you want to know. So you have to bear with me for that. But I'm trying to do my best, and I hope it can help you somewhat. If not much, at least a little bit, I will feel more than happy to participate more uh, with you again the next time. So I hope your time spending here is worthwhile and benefit you and help advance you in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay mindful, and keep practicing the Dhamma. I'll see you again next week. Thank you and goodbye.